Google's Gemma 2 model was recently released. This is the large language model successor to the first Gemma model that Google gave to us. Guess what? This is kind of neat. They have some larger sizes, and it says here that the 9 billion and 27 billion parameter models are featuring brand new architecture design that exceeds performance and efficiency of the previous model. What's even neater is they say this is class-leading performance. With 27 billion parameters, Gemma 2 delivers performance surpassing other models twice its size in all the benchmarks. That's impressive. This is an interesting breakthrough in efficiency and sets a new standard for open models. So they make it really with Llama. We'll see if you haven't installed Llama before. We'll walk through that as well. The 9 billion, 27 billion parameters can be run with Llama just by typing this command into your terminal. Check out the benchmarks, like we're looking at Gemma 2, Llama 3, and Grok, which Grok, is at 314 billion parameters, comparing that to the 9 and 27 billion, which is really interesting. It outperforms 27 billion, 75. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Look at this. This 27 billion model has a 75 score compared to the 73 score with a significantly less. It's like a smaller model, right? So fewer parameters. Chris Gonzalez on Threads asked a question, really straightforward question about Google's Gemma 2 large language model, and was very curious to see what it would take to run Gemma 2, what kind of hardware is required. Now, there are a lot of really big models out there, like in the hundreds of parameter size, which can't really run easily on even advanced consumer-grade hardware. You need these larger chips that are intended for the data centers and servers. So with Google's Gemma 2, the good news is they come with a 9 billion parameter and a 27 billion parameter model, which means you can easily run those on most somewhat, modern GPUs, completely on the GPU without needing to do any advanced setups, such as leveraging some of the system RAM or partially loading some of the layers of the model into GPU, but then running the rest on the CPU. That's the really great news about Google's Gemma 2 model, is that they made it really easy to run it on mostly a complete GPU, all of the model. And if you don't have enough memory, you can always choose the 9 billion parameter model, which is a lot more easy to run on, I would say, basically almost all modern hardware that's available maybe in the last decade. Chris also mentions here that there's a quantized version of the Google Gemma model that allows you to run it on computers with NVIDIA's RTX and GeForces. The good news is we don't need to even run the quantized versions because the model is of a good enough size that it will fit on most modern GPUs. And even if it doesn't, and you don't have a GPU that's capable, it runs actually pretty well on a CPU. I just tried it out myself, and it runs actually pretty performantly on a CPU. So you can run it on your local system and get really good performance basically on any computer that's available to you today. What really is the intended use of large language models? These AIs like ChatGPT, they have intended uses. Actually, we invented them without knowing what they could be used for because they were really neat. But now we actually have some practical applications. Check this out. So we can do, obviously, text generation, which is, creative forms of text, writing, marketing, copy, content, email drafts, scripts. You can also have conversations with these AIs, these large language models, to interface customer service, virtual assistants, and interactive applications. You can also use these models for text summarization, so you can get a more concise understanding of a larger body of text down to sort of a summary, which helps us understand research and reports a little bit more easily, more quickly. As humans, we also have some research and educational purposes for natural language processing. Models can serve as a foundation for research and experiments with new NLP techniques that develop algorithms to contribute to the advancement of the field. That sounds kind of exciting. And we also have language learning tools, support interactive language learning experiences, aiding in grammar correction and providing writing practice. That's kind of neat. So there are teachers, right? These models can be our teachers, and we can also explore knowledge with assistant research, exploring large bodies of text and generating summaries of answers and specific questions that any student or research person is currently pursuing. Llama has quickly become an easy way to run these large language models that we've been hearing about, these ChatGPTs and other kinds of models that allow us to have them running locally on our system, on our laptop. This is actually pretty powerful. What we can do is we can run a lot of the open models like Llama 3 from Meta. We've got Mistral and 5.3 and Gemma 2 from Google, and that's the one that we're interested in running right now. So we can run the models, but we could also customize them, which is kind of neat. I like customizing my own model if I want to. Right now I don't need to, but first off you want to download. You click download, you select your operating system, and then you follow the download instructions, and you will also get a sort of like a little Llama icon that's running on your Mac. It'll look like this like little Llama icon right here. Here we go. Zoom in, zoom in. All right, so we got this little Llama icon here. It'll show up in sort of your taskbar, and that'll let you know that the models are ready to be downloaded and run on your local laptop. Google's Gemma 2 model was released recently, and let's try it out. With great news about Google's Gemma 2 is that we can run it locally on our laptop, and we will do that right now. We'll run this model using Llama, which makes it really easy to run these large language models with a simple command line. So what I can do here is I've got my terminal window up and running. I've already downloaded Llama and the model itself, Gemma 2, so we can get to it really quick. So we type Llama, and then we say run, and then the model we are interested in is Gemma 2, right? So Gemma 2, and then we have 27 billion, which is a bigger model that can run easily on a lot of the more modern GPUs, because it only requires maybe 20 gigabytes, maybe around that range, but less. The actual model requires less, but you will be already using some of those GPU RAMs, some of your RAMs going to the OS already. So if we run 9 billion here, and then we type in our prompt, I'll do a simple prompt. We click run, and it will start processing. It starts thinking, and then it's going to give us a response here. It figured it out. It knew what I was going for. It kind of looked like I was going for a sequence, right? It looks like you're starting a sequence. What comes next? Do you want to continue, or is there a pattern you have in mind? That's interesting. From a model's perspective, be able to do that at a 9 billion parameter model size, I haven't seen something like that because it understood my intent. That is fascinating.